Kelsey joins us here today. First and foremost, we're so sorry for your loss. Way too young. A real tragedy.
Totally. Yes, he was the best, and I thank you for having me so we can talk about these important things.
Kelsey, why do you say it's a blessing that your husband died when he did?
Yeah, I think sometimes that's hard for people to understand, but how this worked was when Nate died, we didn't know that he was suffering from stage 2, almost stage 3 CTE. So he died of a heart attack, but at the time there had been a lot of talk about concussions and what players were experiencing. And so I knew we needed to check out his brain. So I sent his brain tissue to Boston University that has a concussion foundation. About 9 months later, we found out that he did have CTE. He had lesions on his brain. And the degenerative nature of that disease would have made our life and his life absolutely miserable. So I always say that his heart attack killed him, but the CTE would have killed all of us.
Yeah, it's so tough, right, Kelsey? Because football it's woven into the fabric of our culture, right? But CTE is a part of the fabric and the culture of football, and we just don't talk about it enough. And you touched on some of the symptoms for the folks at home, right? There's the unpredictability. There's the poor decision making that goes with that damage. There are the mood swings. God forbid there's the violence that comes along with it. And that's just for him, right? Now what happens to the family is, oh my goodness, he's not the same guy anymore, right? And so there's this depression, there's this anxiety. He knows he's losing it slowly as well, and so you also can't underestimate that emotional aspect of it. It is devastating.
And another problem with CTE, it's just so unpredictable. Which symptoms are you going to manifest? It's going to take time for us to learn more about the disease.
Right. Now, Kelsey, it's hard enough to overcome the sudden loss of your husband, your spouse, your life partner. But Jack and Addison also lost a father. How did you help your children overcome the trauma of losing their dad like that?
When this happened, I was devastated because it's the one thing I couldn't bring back was their dad, and he was the best. But over time, I realized that that this was their path, and my job was to support them. And I think for a long time I tried to fix it and I tried to make it all better. And then eventually one of the kids was like, "Mom, this is just awful. Can it just be awful?" And so I started to just be with them where they were. And they both grieved differently because they were different ages. They were 9 and 12. But now, 4 years later, Nate is well and alive in our house and in our home. And we talk about him and he parents with me. I just have to close my eyes and think what he would say because it was always similar. Be kind, be honest, take care of other people. And so I think I learned a huge lesson that I can't fix everything for my kids, and it's freed me up to not have to fix all the little things either. These kids are stronger than we think if we can just let them walk the path and honor where they are. And I'm really proud of my kids. Early on they said to me, I said, what do you guys need from me? And they said, if you're okay, we're okay. So I've spent a long time trying to be okay because it sounded like that's what they needed, and we're doing well.
Yeah.
And Nate
Glad to hear it.
Glad to hear that.
Yeah.